let's draw a polar bear. So the first thing you want to start with is a circle. Draw your circle lightly because we will not keep all of the circle. We'll be erasing some of it. Then I want you to use your fingers to see if you can go and find the middle of your paper. Make a mark in the middle of your paper, so light, like a feather, because we definitely will erase that line. But we want to use this line to show us where we put things. On one side, we want to put them on the other side, because just like people, polar bears are close to symmetrical. So the first thing we want to do is get his whole body. So we're going to take a ride on the side of our circle with our pencil, come on down, and then swoop it out. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and erase the rest of that circle, except we're going to leave the very bottom part right here. We're going to come back to that line and need it later. So I erased the bottom of my circle, except I left a small part right here. Okay, so I'm going to come back to that bottom of my circle, and here I want you to make another smaller circle inside our polar bear. We're going to be using this for his nose, so draw light because we will erase some of the lines. Along our circle, take a ride and swoop up, take a ride and swoop up, and then we're going to actually erase this part and leave it open. So the next thing we want to do is we want to give them eyes. So we're just going to do some circles for now. We'll talk about different eyes we can add later. And now let's go ahead and do their nose. So we're going to get an oval. We're going to put an oval. Depends what sort of mood your polar bear is in, but mine's going to be happy. So I'm going to draw my line down and I'm going to give him a smile. So go ahead and give your polar bear a nose and a mouth. If you want to make it look more realistic, you can also give him nostrils, which kind of swoop in and out like that. Okay, so our next step is we're going to add ears. We're going to start by putting a circle, very small circle at the top of their head. We're going to erase the inside part, so draw light. So polar bear ears actually look a little bit more like triangles than they do circles. So I'm going to make a point at the top of my circles, and I'm going to bring that down to make sort of a triangular ear. You don't want it to be too pointy or it will look like a cat or a fox. Bears look different, just like all people look different too. The next step is we want to make sure that our polar bear is fuzzy, because bears are fuzzy. That's how they stay warm. So I'm going to go ahead and draw a zigzag line coming from the top, going one way, going the other way, and then I'm going to carry it all down. You can also add some lines if you want around your polar bear, but don't add too many because remember, polar bears are white. So now we're going to draw our polar bear's arms. We're going to go and add some circles very lightly. Again, remember, we're going to erase big parts of them, so don't draw them too dark. And we're going to take a ride on that circle and swoop him up. Swoop him up. And I'm going to actually move my fuzzy line out now, because this is going to become their paw. Erasing that circle and adding some little triangles for their claws. So going back to the eyes of our polar bear, you can keep them circles if you want to, or if you want to make them look a little bit more lifelike, you can add a curved line on the top and a curved line on the bottom. Something I think that we always forget with all animals is even though they don't stand out as much as ours do, they do have eyebrows. So I'm going to do some little zigzag lines for the eyebrows of my polar bear too. And the eyebrows usually go down to their nose. So let's go ahead and make that zigzag line around their nose. And there's my polar bear. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to make our polar bear have a little bit of us in them. So what I mean by that is we know from our book that polar bears like to eat fish and other animals that they catch in their environment, but I thought it would be fun to draw our polar bears holding our favorite food. So I want everyone to think about their favorite food, think about the shapes you would use to draw that food, and go ahead and draw that food in between your bear's paws. The next step is we want to outline our polar bear. You can use a black crayon or a black marker if you have one.